Today is day 578 of my fasting journey, my health and wellness journey. This morning I hopped on the scale and recorded my lowest weight in 4 months, 142.6. My lowest weight prior to today at 142.6 was back in February. February 8th, I weighed in at 142 pounds even. But there's a big difference from what I was doing then to what I'm doing now. The first thing is my fasts back then were a lot longer than what they currently are today. Now, my fasts have tapered off over time, so from doing 90-ish hour fasts back in the beginning of 2024, to what I was doing by 2025 had gone down to around 65 hours. But you're still talking about a 60 to 65 hour fast to what I'm doing currently right now, which is around 40-ish hours. But a lot of that is attributed to the fact that my calories are so much less, that they're so much more in control than what they used to be. So instead of eating 5, 6, 7,000 calories every single refeed, now my average calorie refeed on the days that I'm tracking is around 2,300. And that's a big change because obviously it allows me to eat more often, fast for less, as long as I'm able to control my calorie count. I think one of the big wins here as well is, yes, limiting my calories, I get to fast less, I get to eat more, but the fact that just this past Saturday and Sunday, which is 4 or 5 days ago, I ate back-to-back days. I didn't track my calories, I ate whatever I wanted, I drank beer, I ate cake, I ate some random mochi nut, which I regret eating, but even though I ate in excess on those days, I find myself just getting back into an ADF, eating every other day. And here's the thing, it's only been 2 rounds of ADF and I'm already hitting my lowest weight. That to me is amazing. And I think it's because it's a combination of the fasting and also limiting my calories. Rolling fast helped me lose 80 pounds in the first 5 months and I've been keeping it off ever since. No pills, no meds, no injections, no surgery, just fasting and moving and lifting and making better decisions in the kitchen and building better habits, breaking old ones, and not giving up, not waiting till Monday, not starting over. You see, fasting has always been my superpower. I know that's a little heavy-handed, but it's what I'm good at. Well, people say you can't outrun a diet. I out-fasted it, so to speak. I fasted for so long, it allowed me to eat whatever I wanted to and still lost weight. 6,000, 7,000 calories in one sitting. But it didn't mean I wasn't walking on day 1 because I was, or not lifting weights on my first week because I was. I was already establishing ways to improve. Diet, exercise, and using fasting as my foundation. And here's another takeaway when it comes to all of this. It isn't just about fasting. It never was. Yes, fasting is what I'm good at. Fasting is the thing that pretty much propelled me to get the weight off, but it wasn't like I was just fasting for days on end and then laying around and doing nothing else. I have been walking since day number 1. I have been going to the gym since the first week of my journey. I have learned, I have tried, I have attempted, I have also failed to eat better. But it didn't mean I wasn't trying to limit my calories, even though that was the hardest thing that I have ever done. That is still one of the hardest things that I am continuing to do today. For anybody who's been watching me for a while, do you remember my initial refeeds when I would go get Chipotle, Wingstop, I would go to Portillo's and grab an Italian beef or a couple of hot dogs. I would eat candy, I would eat chips, and that's how my refeed initially started. It was just eating whatever, but fasting for as long as I could to get the weight off. And while it worked at the very beginning, I also told myself that it can't be like this forever, that eventually I would have to continue working on the other things, which is why the walking has always been a thing. Going to the gym has always been a thing. And then eventually the refeeds became cleaner. I started making different decisions about the foods I ate. I would eat vegetables, but I would spice them up in a way that I really enjoyed it. And then 578 days later, here I am today trying to find ways to really enjoy the foods that I eat, find ways to manipulate the food, meaning keeping it lower calorie but still tasting delicious. This is something that I honestly didn't think I would ever get to that point. Because for a while I was like, well, if I do 65s for the rest of my life, then that's what I'm gonna do. And in a way, if that's what happens eventually, that's what happens, but I don't see that. I actually see this shift happening now, where while I can fast and get the weight off fasting for an extended period of time, it's a tool I can always use. I'm also starting to realize that I can make different decisions when it comes to the way I eat, how I prepare my food, and hopefully coming to a place where I can eat more often and not have to fast or rely on fasting as my big tool to use whenever I feel like I have to get the weight off. It's this eventual shift in me, in my mindset, in the way I do things, but I've only gotten here because every single day I show up and I try to figure out what's next. This is why for many of you who are watching this right now, I want you to start mixing in different fasting lengths. Start working on your other levers outside of fasting. If you want to push a long fast, push a long fast. Nobody is stopping you from doing it as long as you can healthily do it. But what I'm telling you is, if you can get a week of fasting down, that's great, that's wonderful. You're probably gonna drop a bunch of weight fasting for an entire week. But what happens after that? Are you gonna do another week-long fast? You can, if you want to. I've done that. I've done it 4 times in a row, doing 1 week fast. And I've done my 4-day fast for 5 months in a row. What I'm trying to tell you is you have to get good at fasting at other lengths as well. And what comes along with that is eating better, figuring out if you're taking in too much, figuring out if you're getting your steps in, if you're moving. If you're just relying on one thing and not looking at the bigger picture and not looking at doing something sustainable and consistent for the rest of your life, you're gonna have a hard time. And here we are today, hitting my lowest weight in months, but I didn't achieve that doing 100+ hour fasts. I could have, but I didn't. Instead, 40-ish hour fasts, alternate day fasts, even eating back-to-back days last weekend, enjoying cake and beer and random whatever food because I was out socializing and living my life. Why? Because in the last 578 days, I take the good with the bad. I've learned to just not fast for long periods of time, but to also make better food choices, limit calories, continue to move, continue to lift, and even things like handling stress and my emotions without using food to cope. But that's taken me time, 578 days to be exact. Like I said, I've never stopped. Since day one, I have been pushing. I have shown consistency. I have shown imperfect consistency. I have shown accountability. In the last 578 days, you have seen me push really long fasts. You have seen me eat everything under and over and inside the table. You have seen me do things really well. You have seen me go off the handle every now and then. You have seen me feel burnout. You have seen me struggle. You have seen me try to eat in different ways. I've literally been journaling what my journey has looked like since day one. The only difference between you and me, if you're watching this right now, is I continue to show up. When I have a bad day, I don't say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what? I'm just gonna binge and eat for the next month. Instead, if I'm having a bad day and I overeat, I overeat. But I document it. I don't hide from it. I don't walk away from it. That's the difference between you and me, is that I show up. I show that accountability. And if you are accountable and you're showing up, then good for you. But I know there are many people who might be watching this and you know what your cycle is like. You're gonna go all out, and then when things don't go according to plan, good luck. Good luck seeing you again. Maybe it'll be a week from now. Maybe it'll be a month from now. But you know what? I'm proud that you come back. I'm proud that you show up. Those moments are important. My hope for anybody is that you continue to show up. I continue to put the work in. Some days better, some days not so much, but I continue to put the work in. And I'm not out here sprinting and gasping for air all day. Not that you can't if you want to. I'm not at the gym for hours on end. I'm not just eating chicken, broccoli, and rice all day. But what I'm doing right now is finding balance. It doesn't mean that you can't push if you want to. It doesn't mean that you can't fast for a long time if you want to. What it means though is you have to take the good with the bad. I'm doing what works for me. I'm using my strengths to my advantage and working on everything else that I'm having difficulties with. It starts by doing, by practicing imperfect consistency. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. And if you're looking for help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com for one-on-one coaching with me. Let's get you to your goals. Let's stop the all or nothing type of mindset.